if you were a different person, I'd ask different questions, right? Like some of this is jazz, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were like, yeah, I had a really rough courtship period. It was really touch and go there for a while. Then I'd be like, well, what was the best part? But you had like, it sounds like a really positive, natural, organic, comfortable courtship period. What would you say was like an unexpected challenge?
Yeah. So the hardest part was when Kristen moved up.
You're like, oh, you're here all the time now.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even that. Like we were excited about that.
Yeah.
But moving to a completely different area where she knew nobody.
Yeah.
She left her job that she really liked in DC. And there wasn't really another job. She worked for triathlons and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like put on that stuff.
But she was supporting herself. She had her own kind of career.
Yeah, whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
Moving up, she had trouble. There wasn't like triathlon companies or whatever that she was doing down there. It didn't really translate to up here.
Yeah.
And she kind of bounced around to a couple different jobs trying to figure out, what she wanted to do and where she wanted to go. And she didn't really have any friends. So that got there was a dark time where it was tough for her because of all this other stuff. And that was a strain on our relationship because I probably wasn't as compassionate as I probably should have been. Like I understood I get it. Like you moved, it's new, you don't know anybody. It's definitely going to be, tough.
Yeah.
But I had never been in that situation. So I don't know if I grasped how difficult it was.
Sure.
And, she had some problems there where she didn't like being up here. She wanted to move back. She blamed me. She also, she'd always wanted to live in California, in San Diego. Her old boss had moved out there for a new role, said that she had something for her out there. Yeah. So there was a big kind of fight about that. She wanted to move out to California. I had no interest in that.
Right.
And there was a chance, I suppose, where that was like a breakup point where if she moved and we wouldn't have been together anymore.
But the exportable lesson there is when a couple is looking to bring their lives together and they're not already geographically co-located.
Yeah.
That is a potential rough period.
Yes.
There's going to be some challenges associated with somebody, or maybe both people, are saying, yeah, I'm going to uproot myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to be, away from whatever, whether it's family or friends or my career or whatever. It's like somebody's going to, or maybe both people are going to have to develop a whole new support system.
I mean, totally. And a few years later, I had the same effect when we moved from Boston down to Pennsylvania to move home for her.
Right.
And then I was in her position.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is what it was. This sucks. Right. Why didn't you tell me? This is how it was. You didn't tell me it was like this. And she's like, what are you talking about? And it's hard. One of the big things that I would say, and Kristen and I joke about this now. If you can, try to find somebody that's from the same area that you're from.
Interesting. When you're in courtship.
When you're in courtship and married and everything. Because if you don't,
interesting,
it makes logistically everything much more difficult from dating and people moving around and moving.
Right.
I'm also a bad example. I've lived my whole life in New England. Yeah. Never moved, never lived anywhere else. Didn't really have interest in doing it, right? Yeah. So,
But there was an asymmetry, is I think the point. It's you were on your home turf.
Yeah.
You fell in love with somebody who was a totally different place.
Yeah.
And so now at that point, there becomes not necessarily a conflict, but there's this thing has to be resolved. Where are we going to be?
It was always hanging over our head for a while until she did move. And then it was hanging over our head of she's not happy. Geez, how do I?